Meaning of school culture. School culture refers to the shared belief, values, attitude, behavior, and practices that characterize a school community. It encompasses the way that teacher, student, staff, and administrator interact with one another, as well as the norm and expectation that guide their behavior. For my own understanding, school culture can be shaped by a variety of factors, including the school mission and goals, the leadership style of the principal, the quality of the relationship among staff members and students, the nature of the curriculum and instructional practice, the level of parental involvement, and the degree of community engagement. Culture can be classified in many different ways depending on the perspective and criteria used. Here are some possible classification of culture. First is geographical. Culture can be classified by its geographical location, just as African culture, Asian culture, European culture, and etc. Second is historical. Culture can be classified by its historical period, just as ancient culture and medieval culture and modern culture and etc. Third is linguistic. Culture can be classified by the language spoken by the people, just as English culture, Spanish culture, and Chinese culture, and etc. Fourth is ethnic. Culture can be classified by the ethnicity of the people, just as Native American culture, African American culture, and Latino culture. And fifth is religion. Culture can be classified by the religion of the people, just as Islamic culture, Hindu culture, and Jewish culture, and etc. Six is socioeconomic. Culture can be classified by the socioeconomic status of the people, just as upper class culture, middle class culture, working class culture, and there are some of the key characteristics of culture. First is learn and share. Culture is not inherited genetically but is learned and shared through socialization and education and communication. Second is dynamic. Culture is not static but is evolved over time as people interact and exchange ideas. Third is symbolic. Culture relies on symbolic to convey meaning, just as language, gestures, and rituals. Fourth is pattern. Culture is organized into pattern of behavior and belief that give structures and coherence to society. Last one is adaptive. Culture enables people to adapt to their environment and solve problems correctively. Here are some of the key functions and elements of culture. First is identity formation. Culture helps individuals develop a sense of belonging and identity within a group or society. It provides a shared language, values, and norms that allow people to communicate and relate to each other. Second is socialization. Culture plays a key role in socializing individuals into the norms and expectations of their society. It provides a framework for behavior and helps people understand their roles and responsibility within the group. Third is symbolic communication. Culture is expressed through symbols such as language, art, music, and literature. These symbols convey meaning and facilitate communication within a culture. Fourth is adaptation. Culture helps societies adapt to their environment and changing circumstances. It provides a framework for problem solving and innovation and allow society to adapt to new technologies and social structure and economic system. Some of the key elements of culture include: first is language. Language is a fundamental element of culture and it's to use communication, ideas, values, and belief. Second is religion. Religion is a set of beliefs that practice that provide a framework for understanding the world and one's place in it. Third is art and literature. Art is literature are expression of culture that reflect that values, belief, experience of a society. Fourth is custom and tradition. Custom and tradition are social practices that are passed down from generation to generation and help define a society, identity, and values. Fifth is material culture. Material culture refers to the physical artifact and objects that are created by a society, such as clothing, tools, and architecture. Overall, is culture is a complex and dynamic concept that is shared by a wide range of factors including history, geography, religion, language, and social instruction. Understanding the function and elements of culture is essential for appreciating and engaging with different societies and their traditions. Culture and society relationship. Culture is often seen as the foundation of society because it provides a shared framework for social interaction and it shapes the way people think, behave, and interact with each other. For example, the cultural value placed on individualism versus collectivism would influence the social instruction and organization of society, just as whether it is hierarchical or egalitarian. At the same time, society also play a significant role in shaping culture. Society provides the context and environmental for cultural practice and tradition to emerge and evolve. For example, the availability of resources, technology, and education in a society can affect the development and transmission of cultural practice and belief. In summary, culture and society are mutually reinforcing and constantly shaping each other. Culture provides the foundation of shared framework for social interaction, while society provides the context and environment for cultural practice and tradition to emerge and evolve. The school climate refers to the overall atmosphere or feel of school, as well as the relationship, attitudes, and behavior of the people within the school community. It encompasses the physical, emotional, and social aspect of that school environment, including the relationship between teacher, student, and staff, the level of safety and security, the quality of the facilities, and the level of academic and social support. Positive school climate is one which students, staff, and parents feel safe and supported and valued. It is characterized by respectful and caring relationship, high expectation for learning and behavior, and a sense of belonging and connectedness among all members of the school community. A positive cultural climate can improve academic achievement, reduce disciplinary problems, and promote positive mental health outcomes for students. Conversely, a negative school climate can lead to academic disengagement, poor mental health outcomes, and increased disciplinary problems. Factors that can contribute to a negative school climate including bullying, harassment, lack of support for students with diverse needs, and lack of the resources for teachers and staff. There are many different types of culture. First is national culture, the culture that is specific to a particular country or nation, such as American culture, Chinese culture, or Indian culture. Second is corporate culture, the culture that exists within a particular company or organization, including its values, beliefs, and practices. Third is organizational culture, the culture that exists within a particular group or organization, including values and norms and behaviors. Fourth is ethnic culture, the culture that is specific to a particular ethnic group or community, including its language, custom, and traditions. Fifth is pop culture, the culture that is popular and widely accepted by a large audience, such as music, fashions, and movies. Six is subculture, a culture that is formed by a smaller group within a larger society, with its own distinct beliefs, values, and practices. Example of subculture is punk rock, of hip hop, and goth culture. Seventh is regional culture, the culture that is specific to a particular region, such as Southern culture in the United States of Bavarian culture in Germany. 8 is youth culture, the culture that is specific to young people, including their fashion, music, and slang. Last but not the least, family culture, the culture that exists within a particular family, including its values, beliefs, and traditions. The Filipino character is a complete blend of various cultural influence, historical events, and personal experience. While it is difficult to generalize the characteristic of an entire nation, there are certain traits that are commonly attributed to Filipino. In this response, I will discuss some of the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino characteristic, as well as the sociocultural issues that contribute to them. The strength is the hospitality. Filipinos are famous for their warm and welcoming nature. This trait is deeply ingrained in Filipino culture, and it considered rude to turn away a guest or visitors. Second is strong family ties. Family is at the center of Filipino culture. Filipinos have a strong sense of filial piety, which means that they feel a deep sense of responsibility to take care of their parents and elders. Fourth is religion. The Philippines is a predominantly Catholic country, and religion play an important role in the lives of Filipino. Many Filipinos turn to their faith during time of hardship, which can provide them with comfort and strength. The weaknesses of the Filipino is crab mentality. Filipinos are often accused of having a crab mentality, which means that they tend to pull down those who are doing well rather than support them. This can lead to culture of jealousy. Second is fatalism. Some Filipinos have a tendency to resign themselves to their fate rather than taking action to change their circumstances. This can lead to lack of initiative and a culture of complacement. Third is lack of discipline. Filipinos have a reputation for being manana or procrastinators. This can lead to inefficiencies and delays in getting things done. Fourth is inequality. The Philippines has one of the highest level of income inequality in the world. This can lead to a sense of hopelessness among those who are less fortunate and culture of entitlement among those who are more privileged. Socio-cultural issue. Many of the strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino characters can be traced back to socio-cultural issues. For example, the culture of hospitality and strong family ties can be attributed to the importance of community in Filipino culture. Creating a positive culture and culture of peace requires intentional effort and commitment to fostering an environment that values inclusivity, empathy, and collaboration. Here are some steps that can be taken to create a positive culture and culture of peace. The first one is develop a shared vision. Develop a shared vision is establish a shared vision of what a positive culture and culture of peace would look like in your organization or community. It involves all stakeholders in this process, including employees, leaders, community members, and other key players. The second is foster open communication. Foster open communication encourages open communication and transparency to build trust and reduce misunderstandings. It ensures that everyone has the opportunity to express their opinions and ideas without fear of judgment or retaliation. Third is encourage diversity and inclusivity. Encourage diversity and inclusivity is promote diversity and inclusivity by actively seeking out and welcoming people from different backgrounds, cultures, and perspectives. It ensures that everyone feels valued and respected regardless of their differences. The fourth one is build empathy. Build empathy is a key to creating a culture of peace. It encourages people to put themselves in others' shoes, understand their experiences, feelings, and perspectives. Foster a culture of listening and understanding. Creating a positive culture and culture of peace requires ongoing effort and commitment. By following these steps, you can create a more inclusive, empathetic, and collaborative environment that promotes peace and positivity.
Creating a positive learning climate is crucial to the success of any educational environment. Here are some tips to create a positive learning climate. One is show respect. Show respect to your students and encourage them to show respect to each other. Listen to their opinions and ideas and validate their feelings. Second is build trust. Students should feel safe and secure in their learning environment. Encourage open communication and be willing to listen to their concerns. Third one is encourage collaboration. Encourage students to work together and help each other. Foster an environment where students feel comfortable asking for help when they need it. Fourth is celebrate diversity. Celebrate the diversity of your students and encourage them to learn from each other. Create opportunities for students to share their cultures and traditions. Fifth is set clear expectations. Set clear expectations for behavior and academic performance. Be consistent in enforcing rules and consequences. Six is provide positive feedback. Recognize and praise students when they do well. Provide specific feedback on their work and encourage them to improve. 7 is be a role model. Model positive behavior and attitudes and demonstrate a love of learning. Be enthusiastic about the subject you are teaching and encourage students to be curious and engaged. By creating a positive learning climate, you can help your students to feel engaged, motivated, and successful in their learning. Positive student culture refers to a learning environment that fosters a sense of community, respect, and inclusivity among students. It is characterized by students who are engaged, motivated, and supportive of one another. A positive student culture can have a significant impact on academic achievement as well as social and emotional well-being. Here are some ways to promote a positive student culture. One is encourage collaboration and teamwork. Assign group projects and activities that require students to work together and share ideas. Second is celebrate diversity. Acknowledge and appreciate the unique backgrounds, cultures, and experiences of each student in your classroom. Third is promote kindness and empathy. Encourage students to be kind to one another and to consider how their words and actions might affect their peers. Fourth is foster a growth mindset. Foster a growth mindset encourages students to view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow rather than as failures. 5 is establish clear expectations and rules. Establish a set of classroom rules and expectations that promote respect, responsibility, and accountability. Sixth is create a safe and supportive learning environment. Ensure that students feel physically and emotionally safe in the classroom. 7 is model positive behavior. As a teacher, model the behavior you expect from your students by demonstrating kindness, empathy, and respect towards your students and colleagues. By implementing these strategies, you can help to create a positive student culture that supports academic success and overall well-being.
The school culture refers to the values, beliefs, attitude, and behavior that characterize a school community. It encompasses the relationship and interaction between students, teacher, administrator, staff, parents, and other stakeholders within the school. A positive school culture is one where all members of the community feel self-respected and valued. It encourages collaboration, communication, and its sense of belonging among students, staff, and parents. A positive school culture also fosters a love of learning, creativity, critical thinking, and innovation. On the other hand, a negative school culture is one where bullying, harassment, discrimination, and other negative behavior are tolerated. This can create a toxic environment that undermines learning and leads to low morale, high turnover rates, and poor academic performance. Developing good role involves careful consideration of various factors such as the context, audience, purpose, and potential impact of the roles. Here are some tips for creating effective roles. One is start with a clear purpose. Identify the specific goal you want to achieve with the role. This will help you design a role that is clear, concise, and effective. Second is use simple language. Write the role in plain language that is easy to understand. Avoid using technical terms or jargon that may confuse the reader. Third is be specific. Make sure that the role is specific enough to provide clear guidance on what is expected or required. Avoid value or ambiguous language that can lead to confusion of misinterpretations. Fourth is consider the audience. Tailor the language and tone of the role to your intended audience. Use language and symbols that are appropriate for the age, education level, and cultural background of the audience. Fifth is use positive language. Frame the role in the positive terms that emphasize what people should do rather than what they should not do. This can help promote complete and cooperation. Six is provide context. Provide context or background information to help people understand the reason for the role. This can help promote understanding and buying. Seven is teach the role. Teach the role with a small group of people to identify any issue or problem before implementing it more widely. This can help refine the role and increase its effectiveness. Remember that good roles are not just about compliance but also about promoting positive behavior and creating a self-supporting environment. By following these tips, you can develop roles that are clear, effective, and well received by your audience. Violence and disorder refer to situations where there is breakdown or of law and order, an individual or group engaged in aggressive or harmful behavior towards other or property. Violence can take many forms, including physical violence, verbal abuse, and emotional aggression, and disorder can refer to a lack of social control, such as when riot or looting occurs in response to a perceived injustice or social unrest. Ensuring that school remain a safe haven for students is essential for their emotional and academic well-being. Here are some ways to keep schools safe. One is implement and enforce safety protocols. Schools should have clear safety protocol in place and ensure that they are strictly enforced. This includes measures such as metal detectors and secure entrance and exits and regular safety drills. Second is create a culture of respect and inclusion. Schools should promote a culture of respect, kindness, and inclusion. This can be achieved through the implementation of anti-bullying program, diversity and inclusion initiative, and fostering the environment where students feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings. Third is address mental health. Schools should prioritize mental health and provide resources to support students who may be struggle with mental health issues. This can include school counselor and mental health resources and support group. Fourth is monitor social media. Schools should monitor social media for signs of bullying or other potential harmful behavior. This can help identify and address issues before they escalate. Fifth is train staff. Schools should provide training to staff on how to identify and respond to safety concerns. This can include training on how to recognize signs of potential violence, how to respond to emergency situations, and how to handle conflict. By implementing these strategies, school can create a safe and welcoming environment for students to learn and grow. Keeping a fair playing field is an important aspect of any game or competition, whether it's a sport or business competition or even a social interaction. It's involved creating an environment where all participants have equal opportunities and are subject to the same rules and regulations. Here are some ways to keep a fair playing field. First is establish clear rule and regulation. The first step is keeping a fair playing field is to establish clear rules and regulation that everyone must follow. These rules should be communicated to all participants and enforced consistently. Second is ensure equal access to resources. In a competition, it's important to ensure that all participants have equal access to resources. Third is enforce penalties for cheating. Cheating can undermine the fairness of a competition, so it's important to enforce penalties for those who cheat. This can include disqualifies, fines, or other sanctions. Fourth is use objective measure of performance. To ensure fairness, it's important to use objective measure of performance that are not influenced by personal bias. Fifth is provide opportunities for feedback and appeals. Finally, it's important to provide opportunities for feedback and appeals to ensure that a participant feel they have a fair chance to complete. This can involve following participants to voice their concern or provide a process for resolving this point. Overall, keeping a fair playing field requires establishing clear rules and regulations, ensuring equal access to resources, enforcing penalties for cheating, using objective measures for performance, and providing opportunity